My name is Zach Yadigari, and I'm 18 years old. Last month, I made $3.6 million.
One New York high school senior is
raking
already
in
making
millions of
$5
dollars.
High school senior who has made millions
the
developing an AI calorie
to
tracking app.
generate more than $30 million in revenue this year.
This is Zach Yadigari. He's 18 years old, making $3.6 million a month. He's one of the most highly regarded people for his age. He's known for building, scaling, and marketing consumer apps to millions of users, and he's connected with some of the most influential people in the space. Now, if you were in his situation, would you A, maybe reinvest the profits from your business to continue to grow it further? B, maybe pay yourself out a few million, retire, or I don't know, buy yourself a nice house or something? Or C, sell a fucking course. That's exactly what he decided to do. Now, this is exactly what happened with the App Mafia course. It's honestly one of the most spectacular reputation meltdowns I've seen in a while. And honestly, the story gets way dumber than you think. But before we understand how these guys destroyed their reputation, we need to go back to the beginning. And that all starts with a cryptic tweet right here from Blake Anderson. So you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. August 15th, App Mafia. So let's first introduce our characters in this story. These are our 5 main protagonists: Blake Anderson, Hunter Isaacson, Zach Yadigari, Connor McLaren, and Alex Slater. These are the 5 absolute gooners who make up App Mafia. Basically, these guys are really successful. They're very young, very successful app creators. So you may have heard of something called like Kali, Quitter, and there's a few other apps they have in their like roster. And collectively, up to $3 million per month, quoted from like a podcast a few days ago. All right, so these guys are obviously pulling in massive amounts of dough, right? These guys are not poor. So with that being said, these guys formed a group called App Mafia, which is like a cute little homage to like the PayPal Mafia. Now, one thing to note is that these guys are 100% bootstrapped, right? So what that means is that they don't have any external funding from like VCs or other investors. So these guys own 100% of the revenue and 100% of the profit from their apps. And Kali, just by itself, is making $3.6 million a month, okay? Obviously, that's not all profit, but that's still a massive amount of money, right? So that's just something to keep a note moving forward. So going back to the tweets over here, this is kind of how it started. And over the next few days, what we saw is that a lot of people in the community got invited to this App Mafia organization. And they were told to tweet their own phrase of what is App Mafia. So this is obviously just a way to drum up hype, drum up buzz. People are like, what the fuck is this? Pretty cute, right? When I saw this, I didn't really think anything, like I didn't think much of it. I was just like, okay, this is like a little like exclusive group. I'm like, okay, cool, good for them, right? Fuck, man, I wish I was invited to that shit, bro. Fuck! You know, people are like kind of anticipating the August 15th deadline that they mentioned before. So then, for some reason, August 15th comes and goes. We don't see anything on August 15th. But then on August 23rd, Zach Yadigari drops this absolutely beautiful video. All right, let's give it a watch.
My name is Zach Yadigari, and I'm 18 years old. Last month, I made $3.6 million. Now, I live in a mansion with all my friends, party almost every night, and shit, I gotta go to class.
Have you ever wondered why there are so many teenage millionaires now? It's because the game is easier than ever. Anyone can do it. And if you don't, you're just fucking lazy.
The truth is, society lied to you. And money does buy happiness. And you won't get there by playing it safe.
VCs and tech billionaires have been gatekeeping this formula for decades. But we cracked it, and now we're sharing it.
Oh my fucking god, you could have not made a more basic, generic video than that. Bro, that fucking reminds me of Alex Lopez or whatever the fuck his name is. Guys, look at my Lamborghini. Bro, you actually, like for people who are supposed to be marketing geniuses, that is like the worst video I've ever seen. So immediately after they dropped this, they started getting a fuck ton of backlash. So first, when they did this, what they did is that all the other creators that they invited to App Mafia, they kicked. Or everyone were pawns in their fucking chess game, right? And people are obviously pissed, right? They posted about this, like, we are all unknowingly promoting a course. I don't care if you're selling a course, but I was glad I was removed early on. No affiliation with any courses as of now. As of now is the funny part. But you can see here, you are no longer an affiliate of App Mafia. Who could have seen this coming? That is so unfortunate. And obviously there's a few other creators that said the same thing. They started giving their takes. So immediately, you made all the big creators in the tech community absolutely hate you because everyone feels used, right? And then I find this one funny. Why sell a course if you're already doing 3.6 a year? 3.6 a month. Fucking poor broke ass motherfucker, bro. Thought I was doing 3.6 a year? Fucking get your facts straight, buddy. Another thing I find funny is that this guy here, Blake Anderson, he tweeted in the past that he would never drop a course, right? So immediately after dropping this course now, he just contradicted himself. So a lot of his tweets now you're gonna find he's trying to take the view of, oh, he's like rage baiting or he's trying to be like ironic or shit like that to kind of backtrack on what he said because he would never sell a course. So then after a couple days that this dropped, remember this got 3.3 million impressions, okay? 3.3 million. And then plus obviously all the retweets, all the buzz about it. This is probably closer to like, let's say 5 or 6 million impressions, okay? So how many sales do you think these guys got from those couple million impressions, okay? What do you think? Maybe it's like $1 million, $2 million? No. They sold 65 copies, right? So then after this, people started fucking clowning on them saying, you guys only sold 65 copies. And he's trying to defend himself saying, only 65 copies? The 65 sales made us $300,000, okay? Now, you're out here flexing 300K when you make 3.6 million a month, right? That's not a flex, that's like a small bag in comparison. And remember, you're splitting this between 5 people and you're not accounting for the production costs, the advertising, actually producing the course, all that shit, right? And this is like kind of where the backlash got pretty bad. And this is the way they responded to it. And this is the most stupid and hilarious way they could have responded, okay? So after they initially tried to flex their few $100,000 in earnings, they realized that's not working. They're like, guys, fuck, everyone is still hating us. We fucked up, all right? So what do? They try to take the Roy Lee method of marketing. Now, a quick side note on who Roy Lee is. He's basically this guy who went viral a couple months ago on Twitter. He basically started what was called Interview Coder, right? He rage baited a bunch of people on Twitter and he kind of like pioneered that because he learned that, hey, well, not rage baited. Rage baiting on Twitter is not nothing new, but he figured out how you could do it really effectively in order to drive a massive amount of sales to his product, which was, directly related to tech Twitter, right? The product allowed you to cheat on LeetCode interview, right? So it obviously worked pretty well. And then he used this leverage into creating his product now that's called Cluely, right? And they got like 15 or 16 million in funding. So that's what these guys now try to portray, is they try to say, guys, no wait, this is all planned. All right, this is all planned. So look at this, right? Look at this. So they try to start posting stuff like every indie hacker right now. They start trying to make like a meme out of it. So after a couple days, they still noticed that people were still shitting on them, right? People didn't give a fuck that they made 400 grand from this course. They've kind of realized they destroyed their reputation. So what is the next plan? Now, this is pretty funny. The next day, what they do is they decide to release the next part of their master plan, quote unquote, right? Which is to make the course free now. So after all this work, they make this free. So they drop it by saying, 1, what is the most controversial product we could drop? A paid course. 2, took over the timeline for 5 days. 3, make the course free. Community earns over 3x anyways. 4, I don't fucking know.
The last few days have been crazy. We made $300,000 and I bought another car.
I dropped low, then I came up.
Okay, so first of all, this guy's flexing $300,000 when he makes 3.6 million, remember, not a fucking year, 3.6 a month. But this is the other thing. If you go and you watch this guy's podcast, okay, his own podcast that he did, this was 4 days ago. 4 days, this is when he dropped the course, the initial paid course, okay? Let's just listen to what they have to say, okay?
Buy anything that crazy. And so, why are you laughing?
I mean, bought a fucking Lambo cash. He just bought a Ferrari.
Hold on. What was that? Let's replay that.
Why are you laughing?
I mean, bought a fucking Lambo cash. He just bought a Ferrari.
So this guy, Zach, had already bought his Lambo and his Ferrari before this video dropped. So this just kind of provides further credence to the fact that they're trying to, they're trying to pull a whole PR strategy here to recover from this backlash, saying that, guys, we made 300 grand, we bought this Ferrari. Maybe he's trying to rage bait, again, maybe trying to follow that Roy Lee method of, saying, guys, this was like a big master plan all along, try to like drum up a bit more controversy. But no, he already had this car beforehand and he didn't use that 300K to pay for it. In addition to that, when he posted this, you also have to remember that he made other people pay $1 to $5 grand for this course, right? So the logical question is, well, what happened to those people that paid for that course not even 4 days ago, right? And someone asked that here, and he said, we are offering an alternative to those that have already paid that are worth well over $1,000. But if they don't want any, we will refund them, right? So even if he did buy this car with that 300 grand, right? He's now having to refund people. So this makes absolutely no sense, right? This is like the most fucking retarded thing ever, okay? And again, think about it. Like, these guys spent a whole month marketing this course, launching it, just to make it free? Like, what's the point? There's no point. Remember, their apps aren't getting any benefit like Roy Lee. Roy Lee got immediate benefit because he was driving people from Tech Twitter directly to Interview Coder, right? Tech Twitter isn't going to immediately buy Cal AI over this, right? Their communities are completely separate and the strategies are completely different. Cal AI and these apps thrive off of what's called UGC, right? User-generated content or user-generated marketing and paid influence, right? That's like their marketing strategy. And Zach himself talks extensively about this in other podcasts, right? It's very obvious that they just wanted to, or they thought they would make like $2 or $3 million really easily from them. And you know what the thing is that they probably could have if they didn't just go with the whole get rich quick idea when they launched this course. I believe these guys have a lot of value to provide and a lot of, interesting information to provide, but it's just it's done in such like a scammy way that it just leaves a sour taste in your mouth, Now to kind of end this off, this is still yet to be seen the aftermath of this, but as it stands right now, these guys have lost a massive amount of credibility in the tech community. Now, I'm sure their apps themselves won't have any effect from this because, like I said, these are two completely separate communities, but I myself have lost a lot of respect for them, and I'm sure a lot of other people have as well, even with other creators as well, right? They kind of fucked their reputation for a relatively small and insignificant bag when you really think about it. And it just goes to show, even though that these guys are kind of praised or hailed as marketing geniuses or, the fact that they're super smart, it just shows that they can still make really, really dumb and miscalculated decisions. And it just goes to show greed never really has an end.